Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live! Filmed in beautiful Burlington, North Carolina in front of our live studio audience. Now, please welcome your host, our President and CEO, Andy Albright!
All right, y'all grab a seat. Glad y'all are here. I am fired up, and I am going to try to transfer some insights into how this thing happened. It's not that complicated, but communication apparently is the biggest challenge that people have in their personal lives and business lives. So I'm going to try to communicate how it happened, that some guy from Union Ridge who was a little depressed as a child and very reserved, not an over pushy salesman personality at all, son of a postman. My dad delivered mail with a big satchel on his back, delivered it by foot. My mom was secretary. I think she can read. I think she graduated from high school, but just, country, nothing. And then be able to travel like I do, and Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and have friends like Mike and Noel Leventovich, and talking to Jason and Tony Carey, and getting to go to Vegas as many times as I've been, and go to Atlanta. It's like, how does that happen? How do I go from this kid who can't read in the first grade and is crying because I'm scared of my school teacher because she's weird as everything, or at least in my mind she's weird. Maybe she's normal in every people's eyes. She looked like there's this musician called Tiny Tim. And this woman looked like Tiny Tim. For young people, I won't scare you, but old people, I got pictures in my desk of that woman. Scared to death, and then to be able to get what I get don't make no sense, okay? So I'm going to tell you, anybody can do it, okay? Anybody can do it. So I'm going to try to keep explaining it to you. We've got so many gimmicks, tools, strategies, and education and maturity test. I was just talking to Jeff Bright about how, is that Jeff right? Where'd Jeff go? I saw him, he was with me walking. He's way up top. So he got all these things to try psychology tests on you. And I always go like, I'm not writing ahead. Why does he have to be writing ahead to start selling? I'm not happy with my mama. Why does he have to be happy with his mama? My wife is perfect. So if you have a spouse problems, there's no way to say it that somebody don't get offended these days. You know what I mean? But I'm going to say it. My wife is a woman. Does that make any sense to y'all? Yeah. Most men are going like, I get that. And then my buddy, a male, he's married to a male. I said, does that cause problem? He said, yes. I said, we are toast either way. Does that make sense? I was like, whew, you're not going to have any problems. He's like, you better think again. I was like, he'll be here. He'll be fired up. I was just like, you follow what I'm saying? In other words, I have interactions with other people, children. But we understand you got psychological problems, so we're trying to tone them down. And I guess they're trying to work on me. But I'm going like, if I could just get 10 or 12 people to where I am, I would be at a different place, whether I want to be or not. If y'all understand how this Christmas tree thing works, right? Are you DJ? Yes, sir. Is that your wife? What's your name? Lexi. You understand how that works? If you guys were as big as me, if your business was as big as mine would be bigger. So I'm saying, with all the situations y'all deal with, I would get pushed up whether my psychology changes or not. Does that make sense? But I read this all the time. I don't know if y'all ever read this. The reason you ain't making any money is because your self-image won't allow it. Like people sabotage themselves to keep themselves down. And I always think, why would you do that to yourself? It just don't make any sense. Like I always say, no, I don't know if I should say this I should not say this on the air, but the odds of me shooting myself are slim. Does that make any sense? Like, you say, well, what about other people? I'm holding back. I'm holding back. But I get mad. Is anybody else with me, or am I just up here by myself? I get mad. I think everybody, here's what I think. I think everybody says stuff behind closed doors that they don't say out in open. And I think they think stuff they don't say. What's your name again?
Lexi.
Remember that. Lexi. I'm just going to look at you good. Lexi. Lexi, what do you think? You think I'm right about that? That people think stuff and they don't say it?
Yep.
And then behind closed doors, they say things they don't say either.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think that's why people don't run for president. They go, if I run for president, they're going to repeat everything I ever said to them, and then I'm going to get in big trouble. I like it when they replay what they said 4 years ago or something, and it's the opposite of what they said now. And you look at them, and they go like, well, that was a situation. You took it out of context. And I'm like, yeah, context. That's what you said. But okay. That's the whole essence of why I think I do it, okay? I don't think I got that much improved psychology. I just met so many other people as I was showing the plan, and I was in house after house after house after house. I got to looking around, and I was like, I'm not that dumb after all. I'm just kind of standard, which puts me above hundreds of millions of people. So then my self-image went up as theirs went down in my eyes. Does that make any sense? Yeah. You say, well, you thought less of people? I just met them, and I went, God! And then I noticed this, that I got paid on what I do, not on what I thought about myself. So that's when I came up with this do the do thing. I just started doing the do. So what I would tell you is the shortcut to the whole psychological exam is to do the do. And that'd be it. So we're having a convention coming in. There's a sign back on our wall that says we can have a maximum of 1,700 people here. We're going to have 1,700 people here. Y'all hear me? Because the law enforcement and the fire chief says no more than 1,700. So that's where we're marking the line. If 17 and 1 comes in, we're going to kick you out. We're going to say you're late because it's 1,700. At that convention, we're going to convey the whole time to you that the do de soto, no, it's soto. Soto, the do that ain't got no D in it. Soto, you just got to do the do. And when you're not doing the do, you're going to get the poo. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like you can get the dookie. Does that make sense? Like if you don't do the do, you get what you deserve, so to speak. Does that make sense? So that's like from 0 to here, all you got to do is do the do. Somebody should pack their stuff up and leave. Be like, I got it. That would be awesome. I mean, I would be like, that's right. You know what I mean? I mean, if I was charging by the hour, I'd want you to stay, but I get paid based on if you do the do. So I have 2 people that do the do. Adam Johnson and who is Mike and Michelle Johnson? Mike and Michelle Johnson. I'm going like, for real? I don't know Mike and Michelle Johnson. They won Alaska. Look, I got everybody looking at me. Y'all don't know Mike. Somebody better come up with who that is. I'm saying y'all wrote the same thing on a sticker, wrong thing on a sticker, because nobody knows them. Can you believe that I figured that out? Mike and Michelle Alleman have now won the trip to Seattle. They already won Alaska. And Adam Johnson. Okay, so here you go. I'm going to let you have this one back. I'm crazy. Aren't I crazy? Like I knew. What did you?
Looks like you called it.
I like the way you did it the first time.
Called it.
Put up Adam Johnson's name up there for me. We'll get Mike and Michelle's up there shortly. All right, so I promised secrets to success, right? Secrets to success. First of all, I am like a turtle on a fence post. What do you know about a turtle on a fence post? He didn't get there by himself. I have a lot of help, and people help me, okay? I have somehow been able to find friends and somehow been able to find mentors. And I don't want to leave you with somehow. I'm going to tell you how I did it, okay? I'm going to tell you how I did it. But there's so many people that helped me, and we are currently Jessica, will you hand that back to Jessica? That one needs to be fixed too. That's the Seattle one. We're finding new people. One of the ways that we do it is this thing called the power of 10. Could you pull up the power of 10, Billy, or do I need to do that? Let me see if I can. Nope, there it is. I can do it. All right. So Eric Belair has a guy named Charles R. Gary Moore has Anna D. The Albright Bake, we've got Alyssa M. I know who Alyssa, that is Adrian's stepsister. What's her last name? McKelvey. See, we know, so Sarah D. in Elliot Belair's group, David W. and Paul Roberts, Diane Lampy, Charlene P., Eric Belair's got several. 1, 2, 3. These are emerging people that are coming on, and we're trying to identify them, okay? The other thing that we have is we've got a lot of tools to identify people. Now watch this. It may interest you. This is the managers. Paul Roberts has the most points to winning the trip. Paul Roberts, Andy Riddle, Stephen Davies, Diane Lampy, Mike and Michelle Alleman, Mike and Noel Leventovich, and Minerve Profil. And let's see what we got here. Personal production. I guarantee you that's Mark Hutchinson, submitted 270,000 points. Brandon Beal has 267. By the way, Brandon Beal, Mark Hutchinson has passed you in points toward the cruise. Swindale is number 3. All these people have won the cruise already, and Mike Hartlib is 21. He has won the cruise. Right behind that is Paul Van Thoff, which is Paul and Sam Menachino, and Merlene, and all this is tracking. All of these are tracking tools. These are posted on Band. Then you can check them out and you see what the leaderboards say. You got it? You putting that up for me? You can go ahead and put those up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Here we go. Submitted premium. George and Penny Wilson had Jill, submitted 21,000. Grace McGill had Adam. I bet that's Adam Johnson, 20,000. I bet that's Cheddar. How would you get Cheddar out of a T? Megan Cheddar, David L., Paul Roberts, Marty D., Fitzgerald, Michelle Alleman, Mike and Michelle Alleman. So agency, if you're wondering about the code, when they have their whole name up there, it's the agency managers. Like, we love everybody, but we're not putting the whole name up. We're just using last initial, so you can figure out who you are. David and Linda H. Wonder who that is.
I don't know.
David and Linda. Wonder who David and Linda H. 8,000. Y'all submitted $8,000? You must have killed it. That's great. Marcus R. 8,000. So all of these leaderboards are on Band. I'm not going to keep taking you through them. Well, I will take you through. Look at a recruiting one. Oh, I know what. Tia, marketing. Will you, the recruiting leaderboards, would you rank them starting with width from now on? In other words, not the total, just rank it based on width. Because their downline are recruiting, and that's fantastic, but I want to see the width and I want to see the total, but the number one width recruiter would be at the top. Does that make sense? Just so we can follow it. All right, there was something else. Take me to the gray boards, Billy, where I can just write on them. I don't see how to get, I'm sure there's a way that I'm overlooking how to get there. Okay. Band has become very helpful as far as a way of communicating. All right. Okay. Do y'all know band? Anybody know band? Okay, there's people out there that are watching the show that are new and they're not on band and they don't look at it and they don't know what it is. And I'm not sure if you two don't know what it is because you look new. What I would make sure, I would test my new people when I tell them something. I go, you know what it is? They go, yeah. I go, all right, show me. And then if they can't show me, then I go like, let me show you. And then I say, please don't agree with me. Please don't agree with me if you don't know what I'm talking about. Does that make sense? Like when I used to test people when they'd come in as secretaries, administrative people, and I'd always just like them all. And I would say, show me where the big E is on Excel. And they'd be like, I don't know what that is. I said, why did you tell me you know Excel? And then they say, does that make sense? Like I just try to test people, not from being a jerk, but just see if they really know what they're talking about. You with me? I mean, I don't know how to tell you, like communication only happens when you confirm. We call it TLC, teach, listen, and correct. So you're teaching, and then you listen to see what they say back, and then you correct. Now, in athletics, you say bounce the ball like this, then you watch them, and then you correct them. But if you're putting something in their head, the only way you're going to know what they're doing is if they say it back. You say, well, what if we just watch them and do it or not? Well, you understand we're trying to get thousands of people to cooperate, so we got to kind of build it like you tell me what, I tell you, you tell me and confirm, then you tell somebody else and tell them and confirm. I just had a situation where I told this person something, he told this person, he told this, and by the time it got to the third person and got back to me, it wasn't even close to the truth. And it was very annoying because I had this conversation and I made him answer me back. He got it, but I don't think he checked with him, and I don't think he checked with him, and it became a totally different message. And I was like, ah! You with me? So I don't know if it went straight to him, I'd know it was y'all two, but it went through two more. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. One place I was headed and I want to communicate with you is having different kinds of people to help. Murli Menon is here from India. Surprised me come walking in the office. I knew he was going to be here for family reunion. Y'all give him a hand. Murli is somebody that's helped me keep my head on straight in a lot of different ways. He is a crazy smart businessman, crazy experiences, big experiences in accounting and different kinds of business. And he's been all over the world, and he's dealt with a lot of people that make millions. He's dealt with people that make hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's been able to give me feedback that I can use in my personal life and in my business life. And I met Murli through, if y'all remember J.L. Williams. J.L. Williams was a pastor that lived over here in Graham, in Burlington, right around here. Traveled the world. He introduced me to Murli and in India when I was going to India, and we became friends. So I'm just telling y'all, like the way that I have met people and mentored with me is networking and paying attention to if the person actually is real or not, what they really do. I met his children, I've met his adopted children, I've seen his his things that he's created. He's got a whole school in India. Like, it's real. It's not my imagination, and it's not just talky. Like, a lot of people listen to people that talky, and I'm like, I don't know why you listen to that person. You ain't seen nothing that they got. You have seen no proof, no fruit on the vine. All you hear is them talking. You with me? But this guy, he tells me like it is. So, Merle, would you share? Now you're being broadcast. Thousands of people that'll be coming in. Thousands of people that'll be coming in. There's a lot of people that are seeing this that are not coming to our event. We're going to broadcast our event live all weekend. Okay, so it's not just the impact here, but it's all the people across the country. But Merle, would you tell us a little bit, tell these guys a little bit what you do and what your history is, and some stuff you've screamed at me about, maybe.
You know, there is a saying, Jesus loves you and Andy has a plan for you. Okay? So that was a plan for me this morning. I walked in, Andy said, you're going to speak today. I said, okay, that's fine. That's part of my work, and it's fun being here. It's great being at the family reunion. If you're not coming, you're missing out, okay? He started off by saying the secret of your business. What is the secret of your business? I can tell you what the secret of my business is. Let not your circumstances, your situation, your existential crisis determine what you do, okay? Let not your circumstances, your situation, whatever happens in life, do not stop moving forward. That's my motto. And there is a text in the Bible because, you know, one of my main business is faith, okay? I work in the realm of faith. And there is a particular text in the good book which says, whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. Whatever happens. See, whatever is a very popular word. You know, young people say, what do you want to eat? Whatever. What do you want to drink? Whatever. Every time they use the word whatever. You know, when in the book, when it says whatever, it doesn't mean in that sense. It says whatever may be your situation, whatever may be your circumstances, whatever be your life situation, existential crisis, but you never give up. You move forward, okay? And so when this particular gentleman named Apostle Paul, when he said whatever happens, he had huge problems in life. First, he lived at a very uncertain time. Uncertainty is very challenging, you know. We don't know what is going to happen to. In his case, he did not know what is going to happen tomorrow, okay? The option was life or death. For me, that is the reason he said, for me to live is Christ and to die is gain. Uncertainty, whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. That is one situation in his life. In the second situation, you know, he had a very close friend who was deathly ill. Unbelievable situation he had. Even when you are sick and about to die, he still can say, whatever happened, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. He had situations after situations in life, but he never stopped moving forward. You know, that is how we should be in business. That is how we should be in faith. Whatever may be and the word conduct is not like a word that you use, you know, when you take kids sometime to church, you pinch them, say, don't make noise, be quiet. It is not in that sense the word conduct. The word conduct is a very strong word. It has a pregnant meaning, like kind of thing, be a good citizen, okay, in that sense. So, you know, in the US, you're proud of your American citizenship, okay? So, Philippi, where this particular text is written, they were proud of their Roman citizenship because this was the last outpost of the Roman colony. So he's telling citizenship entails certain responsibilities, okay? You're part of alliance, it involves certain responsibility, certain commitment and things like that. So he's saying, as Roman citizen, you have certain responsibilities, but you also need to realize your citizenship is in heaven. That entails even more responsibility. So you're not only a Roman citizen, you're also heavenly citizen. So when you walk, people should know, look at that guy, look at him. He exhibits this citizenship as such, okay? That is what Andy said, not fake. We have to be authentic people. People who are real, not fake people. We live in a world where there's so much fake. Inauthenticity has become so common. But we are looking for authentic people. Authenticity attracts people. Fake can be seen from a long way off. So that's the secret of what I do. That is, whatever may be the situation in life, you don't give up. Your circumstances, your existential crises, your situation should not determine what you do. That's very critical. So in India, I deal with so many different I live in a country where things are so challenging today. We have a very strong government whose whole interest in India is to convert India to be a Hindu country. No opportunity for Christians. Things are getting difficult. Persecution has become very real. That's the kind of challenging situation. But you don't let people who persecute you or give you problems, you don't let them determine what you're doing. Do I stop in my work? No. We continue on because our motto is, whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. That is the kind of situation. So we are involved in going to difficult places and building communities, okay? Go to very difficult, like community means building churches, okay? We go to new places where people have never heard the name of Jesus Christ. We go there and share the gospel with people. Why? Gospel has the power to liberate and transform people. It can transform people completely because transformation, it is transformation that we are involved. We are in the business of transformation to bring people from darkness into the light. So that is what we do, one of our work. But when we go there, we are confronted with so many problems. There are social issues. There are problems with children. We work primarily with powerless people, okay? We work primarily with poor people, people who are absolutely powerful. Yes, you don't understand what poverty is. You don't understand what powerlessness is. Because in the US, whatever may be your situation, you still live in Disney World 24/7.
That's right.
Okay? You don't know that. Okay? You don't realize that. You live in Disney World all the time. But there are people in my part of the world, for them life is so difficult. It is so challenging. To just get one square meal is very, very difficult. So we work with that kind of people. And it is so challenging to see how to bring them from here to there. That's the kind of work we do. And it is so fulfilling. It gives us meaning and significance because we impact people who people have given completely up. They have no hope. They live in a hopeless situation. But when we bring hope to them and see their face really light up and see the real glow in their faces, when you see that glow, you begin to see your work fruitful. So friends, the secret, don't give up. The secret, don't stop. Keep moving, keep moving. Whatever may be your situation, don't give up. That's been my motto. That has been my principle on which I operate. So Andy, thank you for the opportunity to share. So if you are not here for Family Union, please tune in every day for every event and see what's happening. God bless you.
You gonna be here all weekend?
I'll be whole weekend here.
Fantastic. Fine, Merle. Y'all know I like well, you might not know, but I'm telling you, I like WWE. You can look this up, and my IT guy, I would wish my IT people would review this. Worldwide, Worldwide entrepreneurs. How you spell entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs.com. Is that right? Did I spell entrepreneurs right? Yes? No? www.world, no space, wideentrepreneurs.com. Huh? E-N-T, how you say it, spell it? P-R-E-N-E-U-R-S, entrepreneurs. Does that make sense? I like the way you say it's E-U-R-S. See, when I type stuff out on my computer, it finishes it for me. If it don't, I go to another place that'll finish it for me. Does that make sense? And I don't give a crap. Does that make sense? Like as in, I gave $5 million to the North Carolina State Entrepreneur Initiative. And I can't spell entrepreneur or initiative. But I know what EI stands for. Okay? So, what I'm asking my IT for, and T, if y'all would look at this too, but help guide them, because I don't know if they're watching it. There needs to be a place on there where they can give money. They can donate cash to Murley and all his initiatives and what he does. Because y'all have plenty, and you can give it away because y'all live in Disney World. What's that? There is a place on there that you can donate money. Donate money. Donate money. Give it away. Give it away. So why would I do that? So you can make more. It's fun making money. Y'all ever heard that? It's fun making money. G.W. Ned and the King. Remember him? It's fun making money. Give it away and make some more. He's going to do something productive with it. You are going to do like me and waste it. Give it to him. He's a missionary. He's going to help people. No joke. You should go over to India. You should do a trip over to India and run a contest and say, all right, you go like, y'all going to pay for me to go over? Nope, you going to pay. Does that make sense? But you got to make the money. I'll go with you. Maybe. If I ain't doing nothing else. I've been 2 or 3 times. Okay. All right. So I wrote down the stuff I want to talk to you about. How did I get this? How did I get here? I don't have any section in the convention that is this conversation about how I got this. So I was born upside down and naked. You with me? How many people so far were just alike? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any of y'all come out feet first? It happens. But for me, most of the time people come out head first, downward motion, which would make it upside down and naked. Does that make sense? Screaming. I was screaming because somebody was beating the hell out of me. And here's what they said. We were trying to get you to breathe. Ah! Does that make sense? Because kids, when they come out, they say they want them to breathe. Okay, is everybody okay like so far? Like this is not kidding. Like this is the way it starts for me. When I found out that everybody was born in a mess. Does that make sense? Yeah. People say, what do you mean a mess? I've got 2 children. I had a glimpse of the mess. And I was like, no! I did not like. First one, saw. Second one, no see. I said, I'm good. I'm about to faint right now just reflecting back. Everybody's born in a mess like that. Does that make sense? So everybody, I like what Jeff Bright says when these kids think they're special. Like, no. Yeah, but I was born, yeah, no, same. People equal. Okay, tracking with me? So growing up, I'm looking around, looking at what everybody else is doing, and I'm comparing them to television, okay? I'm so proud of my son. Yesterday, he was talking to me. He's like, people don't understand stuff, Daddy. And I said, I know. He said, they should watch Adam Messes Everything Up, okay? And I was like, I don't think I'm familiar with that. He said, let me show you one of the shows. So there's this guy named Adam who messes everything up. Somebody Google that and see if I'm telling the truth. Adam ruins everything. That's what it was. Have you seen that? Have you seen any of those? Sure. Do you like them? Oh, yeah. I've seen 2 now. Because I saw the one, because me and him are going to Africa, and it was about people who go to Africa. And it was making fun of me in many ways. And I was laughing because he was correct. But he was also destroying people who don't understand the concept. So you can look it up. Adam ruins everything. So my son, he says, I've watched this one 2 or 3 times because it's funny. And he said, I thought the way the guy talked, it would be annoying, but I watched it. And then today, when I left him, as a matter of fact, I don't see him here. I invited him here today. I said, I wish you'd come over to the meeting. And I said, what are you doing? He was watching Adam Ruins Everything about how the West was won. And it was discussing the ladies in the places out there in the West. And it was talking about the cowboys and the shooting and the guns. And Adam ruins the way most popular people think of things. Okay, so the Africa thing, he ruins the way people think because he tells it like it is. And then how the West was won, he tells it how it is. So you might say your son's wasting time watching television. I learned a lot from television. Does that make sense? I don't know how you're going to learn it, but you got to figure it out if you're going to get what I got. Now, the way we teach it is come out into the light of day. Come out into the light of day. It's duplication, edification, and association. So it's association with the people that you associate. You get to learn how to do stuff. I watch television. And people say, well, can I just watch television too? I don't know if it'll work when you're old. I watched it when I was little. I don't watch it so much now because I got it. But I read the books, and I think the books are the second level. Does that make, tracking with me? Is anybody with me so far, upside down and naked, and you watched a lot of television little when you were little? Okay. All right. At some point, y'all may differ from me, and I don't know when you went a different route. But I'm gonna try to tell you the route on how I got here so that you can do it. James, is that your name? Is that what you go by? James? Ed? Right? What's your name? Marquise. Amante. I met y'all before, haven't I? Where'd I met y'all? ACT and JC from KC. All right. Armante. Darius? That's right. Amante and Darius. Okay. Marquise. I'm thinking about something else. Marquise. Is that it? Marquise? Amante? Marquise? James? Merle? Wooly? Allen? Hooley. That's it. I knew it was something like that. Cooley. What is it? Hooley with an H. Yes, sir. Ain't Cooley. It's H. All right. So when I'm little, I'm wanting to be rich. I'm wanting to travel the world. I'm wanting to be free. I'm like freedom. I'm watching these war movies. I watched Red Dawn a bunch of times. Y'all seen Red Dawn? Yep. If I had a hat, y'all have got to get caught up on the essential movies to change your life. You must watch Red Dawn. I don't know how many times I tell you this. You got to watch Red Dawn, so that when I say you watch Red Dawn, you got to be like, how many of you have seen Red Dawn? Just so I know who my audience is. You other people don't have a shot. Y'all not seen Red Dawn? It just blows my mind, huh? Yeah, the old one. Don't watch the new one. Huh? Patrick Swayze's, Patrick Swayze's in there. He can dance. That's a different movie, but it's made about the same time. Y'all tracking with me on this? Like, I'm not, everybody thinks I'm joking when I'm telling you, like Red Dawn, it's like people trying to attack us, and then Patrick Swayze's like, oh, no. You with me? Like I tell everybody, I only read 2 books by the time I graduated college. How old do you graduate college? 22? I read 2 books, Runaway Ralph and The Last of the Mohicans. And I learned a bunch from them 2 books. That's why I read now, because I think back, like, wonder why I didn't read any more books. Because I would know so much more. But what I know is what I know, okay? So look, Red Dawn, the other one I talk about, where the guy says, why'd you have to say 50 when he was eating 50 eggs? Cool Hand Luke. I'd watch Cool Hand Luke too and not take any chances. Like I'd watch Red Dawn and Cool Hand Luke. Like my kids have watched like y'all think I'm kidding. These are required. My son was like, Dad, have you watched Conspiracy Theory? I said, I'm sure I have, 10 times. And then he's like, well, I believe I missed it. I said, I think you've seen it. You need to watch it again because I don't want you to not remember it. Conspiracy Theory. It's very important. Okay? Has anybody quit on me? Anybody thinking about it? To get the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, the trips to Africa, all over the world, Croatia, all these places, to be friends, to talk on a football field. If you have a way to do it other than this, congratulations. I just don't know another way to do it. This is the way anybody can do it. Okay? Here's what I wanted. Freedom. Does that make sense? I didn't want to go. I remember when I was a little kid going like, I don't want to go to prison. Why? The television told me that when you go to prison, you get raped. And I didn't want to do that. And the food's not that good. I didn't want that. And you can't go outside. I didn't like that. Does that make sense? No Ferrari, no nothing. Prison, bad. Against. Does that make sense? Shawshank Redemption. Woo! Woo! Re-energize my don't go to prison strategy. Does that make sense? Shawshank Redemption, that jerker wanted to get out of prison bad. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm watching television. I don't want to go to prison, but I want to be free. Does that make sense? And I see a lot of drug dealers have a lot of money. So I'm thinking, drugs. And then they go to prison. I'm like, Or they get shot. And I'm thinking, But it looks like it works. So I'm thinking, how do we do it? Does that make sense? So then I see all these business people doing it. So I said, I got to go in business. He said, what about athletics? I didn't really consider it that much because of my size and speed and lack of accuracy. Does that make sense? Now, if you're a super talented athlete, we had a guy right now, Sean, he thought he was going to play NFL, and I was hoping he got to play NFL, so I would know an NFL person. And it's Neiman Hines guys, he played NC State, he's pro, I'm happy for him. Russell Wilson, pro, I'm happy for them. But that's not me. Does that make sense? Brandon Beal's brother, pro, congratulations, woohoo! That don't help me. Now, watch this. Secretly, I care about me. You say, well, I thought you was more of a help everybody else. Secretly? Like, the whole world's going to know this now. I do. I don't want me to be poor. I don't care if Russell Wilson's highest paid football player. He don't even give NC, he don't ever talk about, he don't talk about Wisconsin or NC State. You with me? But I liked him, like his junior year, he won a bowl game, and the girl was interviewing him, and she said, where do you think you're going to, do you think you're going to go pro? Pro, what do you think you did? He said, it's all about the team. And she tried to bait him and trick him, and all he talked about was the team. All he talked about was a team victory. And I was like, I bet that joker's thinking about himself, but casting the old team thing out there to everybody else. You say, why do you do that? Because I think that's what, I don't know if I'm right. I've watched a lot of television. And it turns out a lot of people that talk about the team the most care about themselves. You say, well, so is that bad that they care about themselves? I don't think so. Because I want to follow a leader who is going to stay alive. I want to follow a leader who has some money. I don't want to follow nobody that has nothing. So isn't that the most contradictory thing you've ever heard in your life? Like, but Andy will give and he flies and he travels and he talks to people and he gives his heart and he gets embarrassed because he's trying. He just cares about you. You know why? Because if you do good, I do good. Duh. It seems contradictory, don't it? But when I was little, I was thinking through this. I wanted freedom, 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 freedom. I wanted to do whatever I want to do. Does that make sense? Now, I thought about other countries where they don't have as many laws. Then you would be more free. But they always got machine guns shooting everybody. So I was like, I don't want to go there where they shoot everybody with machine guns. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to do that. I wanted freedom in America. Why? Because it's the closest thing to freedom that I have found. We had this young lady. If you're listening, young lady, it was two of you standing up here. I'm trying to remember who you both were. I had two young guys over here and two young ladies over here. And one of them had really cool shoes. And I asked her, where all you live? She lived in like 10 different countries or 8 different countries. I said, what's your favorite country? And she said, oh, that's tough. I said, well, give me your top 2 favorite countries. And she said, Spain and America. And I said, all right, I like Spain too. But there ain't no contest for me. America's it. But she needs to go back different times. And she ain't been, I don't think she's been experienced all of America. But I was America. I watched all the TV shows and the Russian stuff. I want to go. I still hadn't been to that St. Petersburg place. I want to go. And there's some other stuff I want to see. Is it the Kremlin? Is that a cool place? I want to go there. But I haven't been. But I saw all the Russian movies, and I was like, I'm not living there. America. Freedom in America. Does that make sense? And then I saw people with money in America got to do stuff. Does that kind of make sense? And so I was thinking, freedom. Is everybody with me so far? Have I lost you? So I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to do something illegal. And I in the 2nd grade, I got to know this Jesus Christianity. You know, your guy there, Jesus. And so they said it was real easy that when you die, you go to heaven. I was like, I'm in. If it'd been complicated, I don't know what I'd have done. But when it was simple, I was like, I'm in. So they said when you get there, how good you do for more people would depend on how good a position you get. And then there are other people that says, no matter how good you do, everybody's going to be equal there. And I was like, really? That's what you think? You think everybody's going to be equal? You think the bad people that get there are going to be equal? I was like, I don't know. That thing about the more people you help makes more sense to me. Plus, I watched a lot of television. And on television, the preachers would say that. The ones that had a lot of money and a lot of power would say that. Now, I think that just because you don't have any money, you might be right, and the people with all the money that might be wrong. Does that make sense? Like Billy Graham, you know, he's the big one, right? He's the one that did the Changing Lives, and everybody knows he got the son Franklin Graham, Samaritan's Purse. He could be wrong and you could be right. But I've watched television so much that usually the big, powerful, wealthy, crazy people were right and the poor people were wrong. And the reason that I see that is because the poor people stayed poor and had nothing and they stayed powerful. So I was like, I think there's a trend here. Y'all tracking with me on this? So I was like, I'm going to go with what Graham says and what's the ones in Atlanta? The old man's son, and then he's got a son, Andy Stanley. And Charles. They said the same thing. So, and then this guy out there at Saddleback Church, what's that guy's name? Rick Warren. And I was like, I'm going with what they say. Is this making sense to y'all? Yeah. So if you've got a cousin or an uncle or a brother who says it ain't like that, I would say, what television show was you watching? And let's watch it together and see what they say. Does that make sense? Now, I know bad religions that I don't agree with say the same thing. I have not been able to find a good, solid, established religion that don't agree. They all agree that it matters. Does that make sense? It's like I watched a lot of television, a lot of research on this. You say television is not research. I'm telling you my conclusions from the way I did it and what I concluded. How we doing, DJ? Is this making sense? Sure. How's Lexi doing? You got some sun on your neck there, Lexi? Where were y'all at? DC. Huh? DC? I like it. Okay, questions so far, or comments, or anything? Worries? Okay, so you tracking with me. I wanted to do something where I was free and I could help other people because I knew I was going to die one day, and then I would have to pay for everything I did or did not do. That's what I came to. So I was thinking, how am I going to get in something that helps people do good stuff, right? Well, I got in textiles. Well, I almost say that. So I go to college. I go to NC State. I'm a big NC State fan. But like, I just stick with that, okay? Like, I'm not a big Carolina fan, but that's a kind of a personal problem situation that I deal with, that you don't adopt that part. You can like Carolina, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna tell you whenever, like, it really matters. Does that make sense? So far, everything really mattered up until that point. And then I diverted, squirrel. Okay? I have some personal preference. Let's just move on, okay? All right, so I go here to school not because I like freedom. I want to go to ball games, go swimming, go to concerts, hang out, freedom. I want to go to NC State. There's a lot of stuff in there, just crazy stuff in my head that's messed up and jacked up. You don't need all that part. Okay, just this part. I was looking for freedom. Everybody in the world said, get a good job. Get a good job. And I would look at these people with good jobs, and then I would go back to television. The people with the big houses didn't have a job. I watched Magnum P.I. That joker had no job. He was a self-employed private eye who got to drive somebody else's Ferrari and live in somebody else's house, who apparently made a boatload of money in business. He didn't live at a mailman's house. He didn't live in an engineer's house. He didn't even live at a doctor's house. I mean, this joker was big, whoever he was. What was his name? The Magnum's house? Huh? Robin Masters. Robin Masters. Apparently, Robin Masters was a badass in business because his house is there in Hawaii, and he had dogs. He had a butler live there all the time, and Magnum got to stay there, and he was a private eye, and Magnum could do whatever he wanted to because he was self-employed. Does that make sense? So I'm thinking, how am I going to get self-employed? And when I was coming up, and I think it's still prevalent now, is these franchise things. If a person owned 10 franchises or 8 franchises, if I ever met anybody had multiple franchises, they would have money. Is this making sense? You tracking with me on this? So I had to come up with a way that I could have freedom. Make sure I don't leave anything. Okay, freedom. Okay, so number one thing is decide what you want. So coming up, I had to decide what I wanted. I wanted to help other people to prepare for when I die. Does that make sense? And some people say, well, I don't care about all that. Well, don't care about that. I'm just telling you what I did, and it's why I helped so many people so heavy and so hard. It's because I think it's going to matter. So do you know? I don't know nothing. Does that make sense? People say, you don't know nothing. No, I'm going with what I'm going with. This is what I'm going with. I'm going with it's going to matter. But I don't know. I was telling some people early, I was on my jet, and I had several different religions. I usually know what religion, because I always ask people, what do you believe? And I listen to them, okay. And I know right across from me was a different religion, semi-religious, and then psycho, behind me in the plane. And that plane started doing that right there. And I said, hey, if we go down and we crash, we'll get to find out who's right. I was like, would that be, look, that's going to be awesome. Like the anticipation of whether we've picked the right, the way, the truth, the light. You know what I mean? You say, you don't believe that your way is light? Yeah, I do. But I'm not sure. I'm like 100% sure. You go, you shouldn't doubt. You should get wider and get more people selling. You want to get into what I should do, I'm going to start telling you what you should do. Does that make sense? You should hire more people and quit freaking standing around watching YouTubes and stuff. Start selling. You start telling me what to do, I'm going to start telling you what to do. Does that make sense? I ain't sure, but I'm going with it. Does that make sense? You say I shouldn't have doubt. I was listening to Furtick. He said doubt was real and ain't nothing you can do about it. He said he doubted. I was like, I'm with you. Now, did you decide that when you heard Furtick say it? Nope, I'd already decided. When he said it, I was like, you're doing like me. That's all I said. In other words, I didn't say like, oh, that's genius. I was just like, me too, bro. Does that make tracking with me? Okay, so I wanted freedom. I wanted to help other people. The other thing I watch television for, and now I'm more strategic about it, dreaming. What's it going to be like? Number 2, dreaming, thinking about it. What's it going to smell like? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Who I'm going to see? I mean, I look at all this jewelry that I wanted to give my wife. I just wanted to give her stuff. Jane don't care about diamonds. She don't care about watches. She don't care about all that. But every time I give her to her, she thanks me profusely. That I like. Does that make sense? She likes it. She would rather have time than diamonds. But I say, let's travel the world together. Let's hang out. I like, you with me? Like I'm trying to give her time, but when I was, if I'd have thought about that when I was little, I might be a different person. I thought I'm going to give her stuff. Does that make sense? Because time, I might not have done anything. Because I got, I could just sit around. We could get us a tent, out in the woods. You know what I mean? Like we could be homeless together and spend every minute together. You see what I'm saying? But I was thinking I wanted to give her first class seats. I like first class. I never did it until I had the money, but I like first class. I like the big safe cars. I wanted my cars to crank when you turn them on. I wanted them to turn off when you turn them off. If you've ever had a car that didn't turn off, that is very embarrassing. I didn't like that. I wanted air conditions at work. I wanted to eat what I wanted to eat. I wanted to get whatever drinks I wanted. Does that make, like I'm telling you, I visualized what I wanted. How much time do I have? Huh? That's the time. Normally they have the amount of minutes I have left or the amount of minutes that I've went into it. So that looks like you see what I'm saying? It's been an interesting meeting so far. Someone's out to mess me up, but I am not shaken. I thought I had 2 minutes left. I was like, there's no way Merle talked that long. God. Have you got the time for me? Okay. Not my time, the time. Okay. Taste, look, smell, visualized it. I would dream about it. Does anybody in here have dreams sometime and you wake up and you're walking around and you're thinking, did I do it or did I not do that? Yeah. Do you do that, Adrian? Yeah. Oh, God. I killed somebody one time. I woke up, I was like, oh, God. Oh, God. Because I watch these movies and they say, you make so many mistakes. And I was like, oh, God, I'm so bad at everything. There's no telling. And like when I mess up in business, like it don't really matter. But when you mess up doing that, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like looking around where I was and I was like, wait, did I just wake up? And then I was like, I woke up, but see my dream, I woke up and realized I did it. Like the dream, I woke up and I realized I had done it. Does that make sense? So then I was like, well, crap, I'm waking up. And then I was like, and then it's like, I think I texted them and said, hey, something like that. Or I asked somebody and they're like, no, everything's good. I was like, oh my God. That's a bad one. But I've had worse, but I can't go share those with you. That's a bad one, but it's not the worst one that I dreamed that I did. And every single one of them, all I worry about was how I was going to get caught. Does that make any sense? Because what I dreamed is what I was thinking. But the getting caught part, I didn't want to be a part of. Y'all tracking with me this? If you're not tracking with me, you're not tracking with me. I'm talking about dreaming it so real that you think you've done it. Does that make sense? Like, I've not walked up to Machu Picchu. I've not walked the steps. I've not walked around. But I've looked at so many pictures, it's almost like I've already been there. I have had dinner on the Great Wall of China so many times, I'll be like, hey, give me the salt. It's around the corner right over there. Like, I know where it's going to be. I've not been to Japan. But when I go, I know what it's. I've talked to my son about it. I've watched movie after movie in Japan. I've dreamed it. Does that make sense? Like, I've visualized it so strong that I can smell it. Like, I'm a little bit, might be on the insane part. Does that make sense? Okay. The third thing is I looked for people that could help me get it, knew how to get it. I did not talk. Lixie, I quit talking to people that didn't know. Does that make sense? Like, you can't, it's hard to grab how focused, sincere, to the point I was and still am. And it's very, very annoying to some people around me how I just don't like to ask nobody, don't know nothing. I like people that know it. I like people with millions and millions and power and travel. And people say, you seem to be obsessed with money and power and freedom and stuff like that. I'll be like, yeah, I was telling you how to get it. You're the one here trying to figure out how to get it. That makes sense? Now, people say, well, did you do that because you want to be happy? No, I was already happy. So I'm not happy. I don't know if this will help you or not. I became happy when I didn't have to worry about dying because I knew I was going to heaven. If that helps you, come see Tim Goat on Sunday morning and you get saved and you can be happy. You say, well, what am I going to do about what my mama did to me? I don't know. Do like I do. Don't think about it all the daggum time. And then some people say, talk it out. I don't talk about that. I feel better if I talk about it. I don't. I remember it. Oh, God help, don't put it on social media because then people remind you about it. And they want you to talk more about it. I'll be like, I ain't doing all that. Well, they don't know. I talk to the rich people. All the rich people, they never, ever do that. They don't. You just don't see them. Now, if I say, Maxwell, tell me about your childhood, he'd be like, my daddy took me all this stuff. I heard one football coach. I was reading about this one football coach. You ought to hear what he said about his daddy and his growing up childhood. His daddy used to come up to him and talk to him, read stories to him. They say he made it all up. So he made it all up. The daddy that he told everybody about is the one he made up. I was like, what if I should make it up about mine? And I was like, it's too big of a stretch. But they said that his was totally made up. Like his dad didn't do anything good for him. He's very, very successful. Does anybody know this story? Huh? Yes? Somebody says yeah. Who says that? Silva. Is that your name? Huh? Tad. Peterson? Do you remember who it was? Robert Kiyosaki? No, Kiyosaki did make up stuff. He still makes up stuff. But there was a football coach that made it all up. But here's my whole point. What difference does it make? I can't put that together to me. You get paid for what you do. You get rewarded for what you do. And if you're thinking, you're not doing. Why are you thinking about that? Let's start doing. And then people say, Andy, you just don't know how deep psychological problems are. And I go like, yes, I do. I've got deep psychological problems too. but you don't act like it. I'm acting. I'm acting. Do you understand? I'm acting. So you're not sincere. I'm sincerely acting. I'm acting sincere. What's your question? Marquise? Is that right name? Yes. Okay. When I get people's name wrong, people think I'm acting. I'm trying to get your name right. Every time I see Alan, he's in different places. My brother's name, Alan, for God's sake, I should be able to know that. How do you remember Merle Minning? I have no idea how I remember that name. It rhymes or something. I don't know. Just make it. Y'all tracking on me? Lindsay, what's your name? Mary Jane. Mary Jane. Okay. I saw you earlier. I was like, I'm going to see her. I'm going to remember her name, Mary Jane. No luck. Okay. All right. Y'all with me on this so far? Like you say, Andy, see, I wish, I don't know how to do this. Like put it in a like Tupperware. You only get paid for what you do. So what you do is have these bursts of do and then back away. And then do a burst of do and then back away. I see people that make calls and they get people started and then they become their friend. And as they become their friend, then people start to hate them because they realize they aren't who they say they are, but I back away and you don't know. And then I go hire somebody else. Is this tracking with me? Like I tell people, like, don't spend so much time to your downline. They find out who you are and they quit. Does that make sense? Yeah. You talk. Talky. And some of you don't realize you're talky. Does that make sense? So get away from them, hire them and get away from them, and then go hire another one and get away from them, and then hire another one and get away from them. And then come back over to the other one and just say nice things to them and then hire somebody else. See how this do works? Is this making sense? I was telling you, it's very tricky. Okay? All right? So visualize what you want, how you're going to travel. People say, so far, Andy, you've covered desire and dreaming. Right. This is the biggest component of me getting where I was. Most people don't know what they want. God told me to be powerful and rich. God took that away from me and told me to just make an impact on people with no money. God told me to become a singer. I don't like, what's the thing where you sing and they tell you if you're any good or not? Huh? American Idol. And that guy said, somebody should tell them they're not any good before they go on television like that. A friend should say, you suck. My kids tell me all the time, Dad, you can't be a country music singer. You don't know the words. And the tone stuff is way off. Does that make sense? But I know people, like, I want to say to them, like, you know what I mean? Like, they change around all the time. Does that make sense? Know what you want. I wanted freedom. I want to be able to travel. I wanted the money. I want to be able to give money away. I want to be able to talk. There's a lot of jobs you can't talk about. You can't talk about your spiritual stuff. You can't talk about nothing. And I was like, I don't want that job. I want one where I can talk about it. Does that make sense? So what do you want? Number 3 was, who do you hang around? I started picking and choosing who I would stand near. I heard this. I was told by rich people that if these were some of your friends, and these were some of your friends, and these were some of your friends, and these friends, they said that your income would be right in the middle of all them. So a lot of people I know, they know me, but then they spend Thursday and Friday night with people way low income. And you say, well, you're trying to get me away from friends. Let me explain something to you. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about how I did it. And I'm telling you how I did it, so I don't care what you do. You keep hanging around the poorest people in the world. Does that make sense? I don't care. Does that make sense? Like, whew, you want to hang with dum-dums? I don't know why I'm on this kick, but this social media kick, I ain't kidding you. The dumbest of the dumbs flock together. The dumbest of the dumbs. Like, you see the stupidest post, and you're thinking, I think that's stupid. And then you look at who commented on it, and they approved of it, and then you look at them, and you go, they're stupid. They're poor. And then there's another poor person. I was like, they're all hanging together. Does that make sense? Now, I've recently heard this, that there's people on there that are crazy rich. And the wannabe riches only watch them. Does that make sense? Like they don't. They only watch the rich. Not tricking. You will never see the one commenting on the rich comment on the stupid stuff. It's like it's like birds of a feather flock together. Well, poor people flock together. I almost said a restaurant. I didn't want to be mean. But, they all go together. Does that make sense? People say, well, if all the poor people flock together and I'm poor, then I'm flocking with them. I go like, no, what happens is you just only flock on occasion. In other words, you stay at home or you go show the plan or you go sell insurance, but then the one chance you get to flock or you go with rich people. Does that make sense? No? Yes? Okay. Yes is I agree. No is I don't agree. Confused look. So like we've got family reunion. Okay? So Andy Riddle's going to be here. Diane Lampy's going to be here. Stephen Davies is going to be here. So you come and you try to hang with them. Front row is closer to the people that are making money. Back corner is the furthest away from the people making the money. Does that make sense? So, Andy, everybody can't stay on the front row. Here's what happens. The people that want it the most will be on the front row. Does that make sense? So then people go like, oh, am I competing with other people? I go, I don't know. I'm telling you what I did. I would always try to be on the front row. I would always read the books with the people that were successful, like Rick Warren. I would try to read the books of John Maxwell, and I would quit with the poor mingling. Listen to me. I'm not telling you what, I promise you. People do get mad at me, like, you're trying to tell me not to hang around poor friends. I'm not telling you I'm telling you what I did. And I'm telling you what every single person that I know. Let me tell you something. Like, the examples are everywhere. What's that golfer guy, the one, Tiger? Do you think he plays all the time with pitiful golfers because they're his old-timey friends and they never played golf in their life? No. It's hard to get that. Like, you don't play. You just don't do that. Or I heard this and I started being psychotic about quit hanging with other people. I mean, this guy just texted me, hey, what do you do about my mother said something? I said, bro, I don't know what to do. I've got no idea. Now, I got techniques like tell her that you'll see her next week. Tell her I love you and I'm sorry that I'm ambitious and I'm working so much. I'm sorry that it's a family reunion this weekend. Apologize and move on. Apologize and move on. Well, what if she says the apology don't mean anything to her? I don't know. Just apologize again and move on. But it's the do part. Y'all make track on me on this. If you got any questions, like, I like this. If you got any buts. But Andy, my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, my daddy, my neighbors, who I live with, and, like, I can tell you what, but you just be ready. I'm going to tell you what I did. Does that make sense? Oh, number 4, I always said, no one else. Oh, me. I didn't care what anybody else did. Y'all know how, like, if you don't feel any pressure to do what I'm saying, that's because I don't care what you do. I really, really, really don't. People say, I thought you cared about me. I don't know you that good. I just don't know you. Well, if you cared about me, you'd get in my face and cuss me out and scream at me. What are you talking about? Why do you want me to do that? That's not good. So no one else. I didn't care what no one else did. I knew what I was going to do. There's just one of my upline in Amway, he had this thing on his refrigerator. Every time I go to his house, I just stand there and read it over and over again. But it might have been Paul, that Paul guy you were talking about. He said, I don't know about you, but as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Is that the one that said that? Is that what it was? You might, and preachers and missionaries know it better than me. But he said, as for me, forgetting, I don't know what everybody else is going to do. Kind of like, I don't give a darn. But you can't cuss in the same thing you're doing a Bible verse. You're not supposed to. Does that make sense? I don't give a darn what they do. This is what I'm going to do. So I have decided, I only want to break out in it. I have decided to follow Jesus. You know, I have decided that everybody else can drop away. Does that make sense? I've made my decision. That makes sense? I made my decision, and I'm sticking with it. This is my story. I'm sticking with it. This is my plan. I tell people, you know where I'm going to be. You quit for a while, come back. I was right here. Ain't changed much at all. Got a little bit older. I would say grayer, but I'm blessed. Got a little bit right here. No dye. It's coming. If I keep dealing with y'all, it's going to get gray. I decided that I didn't care what nobody else did. I didn't care if they stabbed me. I didn't care if they left me. I didn't care if they believed what I was going to do. I started hanging with the badasses of America. Does that make sense? I started going to seminars. I started spending every ounce of money that I had. Every dime. I remember when I started reading Proverbs. Rich man told me, he said, you read the Bible, you read Think and Grow Rich. He said, Proverbs, richest man ever walked this here earth. Wrote that. I was like, well, there you go. Here I go again. It's just like television. Don't read what the poor people did in the Bible. Read what the rich people did. And this Proverbs guy was the rich one. Am I right about that? So I started reading that. And I read this part where it said, give up everything over wisdom. Give up all your money, all your ruby, all your gold. Give up all your, it should have said greenbacks, but it didn't have, I guess it didn't have them back then. All your money, all your Abrahams for wisdom and knowledge. It said, pay it all, give it all to get the information. And then, who was it wrote that Proverbs thing? Solomon. Was he a king? Was that David's boy? That's right. David had a boy named Solomon. So he would always talk about getting wisdom. Does that make sense? That's what people say, man. You George Albright's boy, ain't you? I'll be like, yeah. People say, Solomon's son. You David's boy, ain't you? You know what? So I started just paying everything to get the information. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, what if this? And there were what ifs to it. I'd come to the seminars. I'd go to the seminars. What if your wife? What if your child? What if your money? I just said, I'm going. Here we go. Oh, justification. I had to figure out a way to justify what I did was the right thing to do. And I justified it with the eternity thing. Does that make sense? In other words, I'm helping other people. So that way, nobody can put me down and say, you're just greedy. Somebody tried to do that to me the other day. Close relative. You're just greedy. I was like, how you going to call me greedy when I give all that money away? So it's very tricky. How do you argue with that logic? Does that make sense? So I can't argue with my logic. I have built, like, to me, if I was a litigator, if I was an attorney, I have built such a freaking phenomenal case for myself that I had to vote myself to go freedom. Does that make sense? Like, I like that. Like, I love that saying, if a glove don't fit, you must acquit. Y'all familiar with that? If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. I was like, freedom, Albright. You have built a case that they're going to set you free. Does that make sense? It's impenetrable. The biggest one for me and you is, it was just the do. So I became obsessed, passionate. Like, people go like, I was so glad when somebody gave me this book called Off Balance, because people would say like, you need to live a more balanced life. And I'll be like, I know I've got an argument for that. My argument was, I only have so much time on earth, and I'm building up, because they won't let you take your money with you. I'm trying to build it up ahead of time by doing good, and if I stay balanced, I can't do as good. Does that make sense? Like if I stay balanced, if I have a balanced life, I can't build up for eternity. Does that make sense? Like people always say, balanced life, I'd be like, eternity's going to suck for you, Bo. Your little 75 years here on earth was a pleasure boat. But eternity, you're going to have a disaster. And then people say, it's not such a pleasure boat. I don't get to travel like you. I'm getting eternity, plus I'm getting the cruises. You see the math on this, Adrian? People deal with this all the time. No, it's just balance. So I read this book called Off Balance. And I read that. And you know what he said? He said, working is what we're here on earth to do. Not eating bonbons and have somebody fan us with a palm tree. People say, that sounds good to me. It does sound good to me. And I've actually done this in Hawaii. I've had people, I got a video, being fanned by they were trimming the palm trees. I was like, fan me. And Jane actually did it. She was fanning you. She's like, you happy now? I was happy before you started fanning me. I'm just being fanned now. And then somebody got me a bonbon. I was fired up out of my mind. But you understand it was in Hawaii. Like I've been so many Hawaii, I don't even know where the islands are. Like I've been so many of them. And I love it. Does that make sense? And so you say, well, are you happy? I don't know what to tell you. I'm not happy that they put my Lamborghini and my Ferrari in here. I can't drive them when they're parked in here. And I'm not happy that Monday I'm going out of country and I'm not going to be able to drive them, but I'm happy that I'm going out of country. It's like a contradiction. Y'all tracking me on this? All right, you got it. So this is the secrets. So Andy, you know, there's not a lot of psychological mumbo jumbo in your strategy. Yeah, because I didn't want to have to defend that stuff in Good to Great. You ever read Good to Great? Have you ever read, and I teach Good to Great, in First Things First by Stephen Covey, and there's 4 quadrants in your life, and these are the urgent things, and these are not urgent and not important, and these things are not urgent, but they're important, and these people, no, wait a minute. So this is not urgent and not important. But this one is, this one's important and urgent. I'll get them right. Urgent and important. Like if you have a heart attack, you got to go to the hospital, and that's very important. But like reading some stupid tweet or text or something from some dumb, it's just not important and not urgent. You with me? Watching cartoons that makes no sense. They don't have an educational component to it. Does that make sense? Listening to your mama tell the story 13 times in a row. Does people do that to you? You're like, dude, just tell me I got to go. I got a million things to do. That just repeat the same daggum thing over and over and over and tell you what people had. Does anybody ever tell you what somebody else had to eat yesterday? That's bizarre to me. That's down here, not urgent, not important. Here, it's very important, but not urgent. Yep, I was right. Not important. It's very important, but not urgent. Like reading books is not urgent, but it's very important. And so what are we left? Not urgent, not important. No, what goes over here? Not important, but urgent. This is like if your phone's ringing and you look at it and it's some dum-dum, but it's ringing. So it's urgent, but not important. So then you just don't do it. So what you try to do is you stay right here in your life, the not urgent, but important. And that eliminate, like exercising is definitely not urgent at all. But it's important. And if you stay over here, you're not as likely to have bypass surgery. Does that make sense? Eating right is not urgent. You could do that later. But if you stay in the not urgent, does that make sense? So this is a psychological mumbo jumbo, and it's brilliant. I've read those books. You know what I read when I wrote this? Quit talking to dumb, stupid people ain't gonna help you. Does that make sense? Quit doing stuff that somebody else can do. Quit yakking about it. Let's go. All this Maxwell leadership stuff boils down to the simplest stuff that I'm trying to tell you from my life. I just got fired up. Soto? All that stuff's good and true, but what I'm telling you is what I did. And that's what I stuck to. Because every time I give, y'all can rest assured, whenever I give y'all one of those psycho-babble, mumbo-jumbo, brilliant, genius stuff, I just wrote it all down in the last 2 or 3 days. Because there's no way I remember that crap for all week. It ain't like I read it 2 years ago and telling you what I read. I promise you, I can't remember it. But this stuff I remember. Don't hang around dum-dums, hang around rich people. Give up everything in the world to be there. Do the do. Like, people say things like me like, you know, I beat up Cuz. Cuz, by the way, congratulations, bro. You're making some money this year, I noticed. That's because you do the do a lot. But Cuz used to talk to me about his goals of making $200,000. I'd be like, bro, freedom is all you need. Freedom, rich, freedom. Yeah, but I'd like to make $250. I say, dude, just do me a favor. Worry about the 20 appointments a week. If you want to be crazy, book 25 appointments a week. But quit telling me these intermediary goals. Does that make, I don't know if it makes any sense. Like, I don't do the intermediary goals. Try to get all you can get. Here's what you got to do. You got to sell your butt off. You got to recruit your butt off and build like crazy. And a lot of building is not bothering people. Does that make sense? So I get your list, I call your list, I get their list, call their list, and try to not bother people. Does that make sense? I know it sounds crazy because you think I'm coaching all the time, but I'm not coaching all the time. What I do is I do a lot. Does this make sense? I just do a lot. I just like booking appointments, getting referrals, like the killing the basics. Not trying to be a genius, DJ. Tracking with me? It's DJ, right? All right. Okay. This is not in my notes. This is a bonus section. Okay? If you can get people around us, around Mike and Noel Leventovich, if you can get them around Robbie Kraft, it'll rub off on them. This attitude will rub off on you. Okay? And the attitude will start come into you, and people will think you know stuff. So I've always tried to tell people, I say things like, I do care, thank y'all for being here. Thank you. You made it. Thank you for being here. 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 If you could get other people to come, so your first tactic is you, don't care about nobody else, and your next tactic is get somebody to come with you. Not necessarily telling them all the things I just told them. Say things like to them, it'll be fun. It'll be relaxing. It'll be educational. It'll be spiritual. It'll be a party time. See, how can you tell people it's going to be spiritual and then turn around and go like, it's going to be a party? Here's the way I do it. I say, it's going to be spiritual. It's going to be a party. Like, in other words, I just control what comes out of my tongue when it comes to saying that. So how did you know to say this? Somebody told me. He said, what you do is you tell the people that want a party, it's going to be a party. And you tell people that want a spiritual time, it's going to be spiritual. You tell the people that want an education, it's going to be educational. I was like, well, what if the person who wants it to be spiritual hears it's going to be a party? He said, psychologically, they're just dum-dums. They can't hear it. They can only hear what they want to hear. So you just tell them all 5 categories, and then they'll come for their reason. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, so basically I just cover all the categories and tell them that's what's going to be there. They go, yeah. I said, so basically I say, come here and it solves everything in your life. They go, yeah. I go, all right, I got it. So that's what I do. I do that more than anybody I know. I really do. Because when I would come to meetings, I would think, I've got everything I need. And then I would think, I wish I had one more person here. I'd always go like, I wish I'd have bought one more ticket. I wish I'd have pushed one more person. I always got here and I would walk around and say like, man, I wish one more person. So what I did, I made my mind up. I said, from here on out, I'm not going to come to a meeting and not have done everything I could possibly do. So the bonus part is I got everybody to come to stuff. Does that make sense? So like when I hire you, the first thing I do is I say, all right, like if I hired you today, I would be like, family reunion. If I was talking to you today and you answered an ad, I'd say, hey, family reunions this weekend, any way you can make it? And they go, no. I go, oh, no big deal. Why can't you make it? See how I said that? No big deal. How come? And then they tell me how come. I go, what if we could fix that? Then would you come? Does that make sense? Like if I could fix that, then would you come? And then I said, well, and then if I can't fix it, I go, all right, next time, National Convention, let's write the dates down for that. Does that make sense? Like I just keep going to get them to the next meeting. And then I'd go back to everything here. Got it? What I want, dream it so vivid that I think I did it sometimes. Association at all cost. And I mean, the people go like, I don't understand why you don't, and I don't think about it. Like, why? People ask me, it's like, what do you do about people, really close friends from high school and Little League? And I don't know about that. I just know what I wanted. Does that make sense? I just didn't get all hung up on that. And people say, well, don't you? I don't know. I didn't want what they wanted. Okay, association, and then no one else, not caring what no one else did. I knew what I needed to do. Way self-centered. Okay, way self-centered. But Andy, you help so many people, you travel. Yes, because I know that it'll get to work. If I get you making $500,000, it's going to be good for me. So I know that sounds altruistic, like I don't care about myself, but this system, the way it works, I got into a system of franchising. See, if you own 10 franchise and you get one of the Domino's doing good or one of the Popeye chickens doing good and you own them, it helps you. Does that make sense? There's a lot of businesses, the person's going to leave you if you help them. Here, it helps you. So it just got in a system. I wanted to find a system, and I found one. I found one. I was like, this works. This works. And then I did everything. And then I just put everything I could into it, tied into, and then I justify why it was good. You go like, you justify, yeah, what do you do? Don't you justify what you do? Like, here's my reason. But and the reason comes back to doing the do, okay? There are people out there that are not committed to come to our convention yet. If there's any way that we could get you here, we're going to have 2 or 3 empty seats, and I don't want to have one empty seat. I want 1,700 people, not 1,699, not 1,701, because I don't want to go to jail with the fire department people. 1,700. One more person, you will make a difference. If you have a person, say, did you see that show? I really wish you'd just do it. And then if they say no, say don't, then back away, and say no problem, and then go talk to another one. Back away. Don't be mad. You say, what if they say they're coming? Do I just go in with them and live with them? No. Just back away and go get another person. Does that make sense? Like when you book an appointment, if they cuss you out, don't get mad. Just book another one. If you book an appointment, don't freak out and stop. Book another one. Does that make sense? I just keep doing and backing away, doing and back away. Does this help? All right, all of y'all should be rich now. Yeah. I wish I had time to ask you to know if you know what I'm saying, but this weekend's coming up. You can get a lot of this all weekend. My best friends, my buddies. I got Fitz and Heather coming in. I got to carry. Hey, Jake and Belle Krause, new agency managers. Terry and Tia are getting a ring. It's going to be so many of my buddies. I can't wait to see them, and I can't wait for y'all to experience it. Bree Goad is lined up. The Goad's singing. I've been on the phone with Tim today. It's going to be so crazy. Merle Minnie's going to be here all week. We got executives coming in from some of the insurance companies. It's going to be ridiculous. It's just bizarre on how I'm fired up and how this weekend's going to be. Y'all get your money worth. Y'all here early. I'm glad to see you. Make sure you're mingling, chatting, asking questions, and networking. Okay? Night. Love y'all. Thanks for plugging in.